Is that a subtle hint that another Stronghold game is going to happen? Man, these noodles look really high quality. There also won't be anything like as long a wait as there was between Warlords and Crusade 2. You're not allowed to comment while I'm drawing. Hello and welcome to Firefly Studios. Nick here with our first post-release Q&A session for Stronghold Awards. Today I will be taking over 20 of your questions about the game, reaching into this tin below me, taking out a question and either answering a fan question or performing a challenge that Aaron has issued to me instead. More on that clarification coming later in the video. Now, before we get started on over 20 player requests and questions about Stronghold Warlords, I do just want to point out that we have even more answers to your questions listed in the description below. Now, of course, if you can't see your question listed either inside or under this video, be sure to head over to the Stronghold Discord and make your voice heard. Now, of course, there are some requests that we can't really explore until future entries in the Stronghold series. So if you don't get an answer this time around, do know that we are adding it to our wish list for future Stronghold games. That said, let's get stuck into 20 questions from you regarding our latest release in the series, Stronghold Warlords. Okay, so let's get started with your questions about Stronghold Warlords. I'm going to open the Holy Biscuit tin. I think the red notes are the challenges, so I'm going to try and stay away from those. I'm going to pick one of the black ones instead. Hopefully this isn't a dastardly challenge. No, it's a question from Milk Beer asking, why do the horse archers speak Chinese? We really did want to include Mongolian voices for the horse archers at launch. Essentially, we just ran out of time. There were a number of changes regarding the voices that we weren't able to implement for launch. So we ended up using Chinese for these characters as it was kind of the only solution we had at the time. The good news is that we are looking to rectify this in a future update and we'll be adding Mongolian voice lines for the horse archers. Okay, so let's get another question out. Okay, this one's from TJ Smith. Will you guys address some issues that you won't be able to cover in this title? Now I'm assuming this means features for like future games in the series. So yeah, the answer is absolutely yes. That's kind of the point of these kind of videos. If we're getting feedback on something and it's just not possible in the current game for whatever reason, be it the engine itself or the resources we have or other factors like it doesn't fit in with the design, and if it's something that you're not seeing on the roadmap, rest assured that it is being noted for the future of the series. We're hearing absolutely everything you're talking about, be it a Steam review, a Discord message, a YouTube comment, and we're actively working on those for Warlords, and hopefully you can see that in the roadmap itself. So really, in terms of that first phase of the roadmap, and future phases of the roadmap that we're going to reveal, Warlords definitely is the priority this year. And then when it comes to the future of the series, we really are paying attention to every piece of feedback that's coming out at the moment. And just like we did with Warlords before we revealed that, we will definitely be discussing our plans for the next game, probably before we even reveal it. All right, time for another question. I'm again going to avoid the red ones for now because I've got a bad feeling about them. Red flags up as a danger in my mind. Okay, we've got Aberdeen asking, would you involve the community in future updates? We're planning a few things post-launch for Warlords. I'm going to do a community survey. So if you're not signed up to the Stronghold newsletter, do sign up for that and give us, opt-in so we can, legally email you because we're going to be soliciting feedback for future Stronghold games through that one as well. But mainly what I want to say here is just, please keep giving us the feedback. We are super, super lucky to have a community who actually sort of tell us what they want from a series. We do, really pay attention to that. And we have tried to do that since the initial reveal of Warlords. We've changed game terrain, units, voice acting. We've added certain game features. And then post-launch, we went into making more maps, larger build areas, increasing the unit cap where we can. And yeah, just doing all these kind of small things that we can do within the confines of the current game to improve it. So definitely keep leaving us that feedback. And I would say subscribe to the Stronghold newsletter if you want to have your voice heard with regards to the future series. Okay, so on to next question. Take this one in the corner. Zyda asks, will you add more weather effects to use in custom maps and scenarios? Yes, excellent question. We actually have a map coming out. We actually have a map coming out next week that may interest you. It's called Thunder Strikes. It basically cycles through rains, storms, monsoons, and I guess normal weather over the course of a skirmish match. Can't really say what we're going to do beyond that, or if we're going to do anything more in this regard, but it's definitely something that we're keeping in mind going forward. Okay, so I've been told by Aaron that I need to look at the reds. My instincts of my brain were clearly correct in this regard, and that I should stay away from these dangerous notes. Oh my God. So read out your last Google search. Okay. Oh, where's my phone? My last Google search was, are NFTs bad for the environment?
Wow.
So quite boring, but topical, because it turns out there is an argument to be said that NFTs are bad for the environment. And one of the reasons why we probably won't be doing NFTs, I don't know what we would do an NFT for. Maybe we'd do like the original box art for Stronghold. Maybe like the scribe could be an NFT. Maybe like him smiling could be something that we could auction off. And maybe we could like auction off and then use that to like raise money for some kind of wilding initiative, possibly. I can tell how disappointed Aaron is in this, by the way, because he was expecting like some extreme porn or something like that. And I'm just like, oh, NFT is bad for the environment. So sorry, Aaron. Okay, so with that disappointing challenge out of the way, I've been allowed to go back to questions. So I'm gonna, and apologies if I'm getting any of these names wrong. It's Aaron's handwriting. So, this is from Danny Baselier, I think. Are you planning to add some extra campaigns post-launch? Glad you asked, Danny. We have so far announced that we're doing both a piece of single player content for free, which is the skirmish trail update, which will come with Warlords units and the field hospital that we talked about before. And then on top of this, we're going to be doing DLC campaigns as well, starting next week with the Art of War. We are hoping to do more single player content, whether it's like another skirmish trail, but yes, there is more single player content coming post-launch, even beyond what we've already announced. Okay, so another question, let's do it. Matej H7 asks, will there be random events? So yes, of course we have events in free build and single player campaigns already, but there will be a future update which adds random events to multiplayer. Yeah, as I said, they're already available in other parts of the game, but yes, it's definitely been on our wish list and to-do list for a while now, and we are planning it for a future update. Okay, let's go for another question. Aberdeen, will we be able to adjust more options in the multiplayer lobby? Yes, I can answer an affirmative yes on that. We'll continue to add more multiplayer options as we update the game. Can't really say what those are quite yet, but watch this space because yeah, it's definitely on our roadmap. I've been instructed to do another challenge, and I'm looking at two of them right now. They're all kind of bunched up in the corner, but I'm thinking, I'm going to go for the solitary one over here. Do the infamous Fortnite dance. What's that? Now that I'm in my dancing t-shirt. See what you made me do? See what we do for the views? Oh yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. The Fortnite dance, everyone hated it, so...
So we're definitely doing it again.
We're definitely doing it.
All right. Is that enough? Can I stop now? Now with that embarrassing dance eradicated from our collective memories, let's get started on some questions. Lurker is asking, will Stronghold Warlords allow us to customize our keybinds? Unfortunately, on Warlords specifically, we're unlikely to add new keybinds or customizable keybinds for a variety of reasons. But that said, we are completely aware of not only the demand, but the expectation for this kind of feature in games. And for various reasons going forward, it's going to be easier for us to do that. So we are absolutely bearing it in mind for future games, and it's definitely on our radar. Okay, it's time for another question. Let's go for this one. Hoborg, or H06org, asks, will there be more maps added, like much more? Yep, so we're going to be adding new maps to the game probably throughout the year. Obviously, so far we've been doing this with individual maps released alongside sort of small and large updates. Next week with version 1.3, we're going to be having our first map pack for the game. So that'll be 3 maps. And then following on from that, we'll be releasing additional maps and additional map packs. So yeah, the number is expected to increase, pretty substantially between now and our final update on Warlords. Okay, so I have been instructed just now that I need to do another challenge. So let's draw someone at Firefly. Give me my implements.
Here's your pick here.
Thanks.
Here's a ballpoint pen.
Who would be least offended by my penmanship? I think I want to pick Andreas, mainly because there's an image of him upstairs on somebody's desk that I've got pretty strongly in my memory at the moment. I'm going to start with, this is going to be a very rough one. I hope he appreciates this. Andreas likes his V-necks, doesn't he? So I'm going to start with a low cut V-neck top. And then, do you draw his tongue? Do you do a tongue?
You do. He has such a small tongue.
Maybe that's fine.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to comment while I'm drawing. Let's try and enlarge his head a bit, just by giving him a bit of hair on top. And then everyone's got eyelashes, so a few eyelashes. Which is and then he's got a big tablet here to do his art on. And then a hand, I guess, is it Los Tromos?
Yeah. And there he is. Oh, look, present your work.
Quite proud of that, actually. Turned out better than I thought it would.
Beautiful. Okay, good.
My first NFT.
Yeah. After all that.
No more challenges for now. We're going to go back to questions, and I'm going to kick them off again with Nigel, who asks, will you add decorative items like flags, banners, statues, fountains, flower beds, and bonsai trees? So we did try and incorporate these in the release of Warlords and tried to kind of integrate them into gameplay. So you've got good lord buildings like cherry blossom trees in the Zen Garden, spirit related structures like the statues. We have no immediate plans to add sort of pure cosmetics to Warlords, but it's absolutely at the top of our list as something hopefully relatively straightforward to do in future entries in the series. So that's definitely the top of our list, and something that's kind of at the forefront of our minds when it comes to castle customization going forward. Okay, it's time for another question from Mike Doughton. Are you guys going to make a new Stronghold Kingdoms? So we're actually hard at work on a follow-up in the form of a game called Romans Age of Caesar. It's currently in alpha. It's a city builder MMO featuring quite similar, actually, sort of territory-based gameplay and political gameplay, things in kingdoms that people sort of ended up enjoying and really kind of finding was the kind of focus of the game for them. It's got really wonderful old school style, some really interesting sort of co-op shared world gameplay. So no immediate plans to follow up Kingdoms, because that's still being played quite heavily by people. But if you do like the sound of our new MMO, which is a spiritual successor, please do check out the alpha at playromans.com. Okay, so next question. This is from Scholar. Will there be a campaign for Sun Tzu in the future, for example, as DLC? Yes, next week. We have the Art of War single player campaign releasing on the 18th alongside version 1.3. These will be a similar length to the base campaign and feature, a decent challenge for players, along with 2 new warlords and plenty of achievements. Lots of content coming the way in the form of single player content, both free and paid. Okay, so time for another question. Piotrek Wolansky, sorry if I got that wrong, asking how many AI leaders will there be in this new Stronghold? So obviously, currently we have 5 in the game with the recent addition of Sun Tzu, and then all the 4 in the base game. We're going to continue to add AI for as long as we're working on the game, for as long as we're doing post-release updates throughout the year. As for who those will be and how many we'll be adding, you'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so apparently it's challenge time. I'm not sure whether my instincts should be trusted or not. I'm going to go for this one. Do an impersonation of the rat. Can I get an example? Should I research a line from the rat?
No, not little ratty. No.
I sound like Gollum.
Not listening.
I'm not listening.
Let's try again.
No, no, not little ratty.
That's pretty good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Like how I closed my eyes there.
yeah.
Let me, look, I'm a good sport. I'm gonna give you more than one. Okay, and with that Oscar-worthy performance out of the way, it's back to the questions. Jan Kukinshi, who's asking, is that a subtle hint that another Stronghold game is going to happen? There's nothing subtle about it. We've said it gives us great pleasure that, Warlords has done well enough. There also won't be anything like as long a wait as there was between Warlords and Crusader 2. And beyond that, I can't really say too much. There's a lot to be excited about going forward, both in terms of Warlords and future games in the series. So you'll just have to stick with us and find out what that is. Okay, so another question. This question is coming from Angaili2, asking, will we be able to build the field hospital regardless of what character you're playing as? Yep, so regardless of which lord you choose, you'll have access to the field hospital. You will have to use it through the Beetle Warlord. To actually do this, we want the new warlords that we're giving away for free as part of these updates to be really interesting and exciting, and that's always been the design for the field hospital. So yes, anyone can access it, but you will have to do so through the Beetle Warlord in-game. Okay, so let's have our next question. Jaggy, hi Jaggy. Will you add unique unit models for factions or at least for future titles? Since the reveal, we've been pretty straight up about the fact that Warlords is more like Crusader, in that there's a single pool of units to draw from, from all factions, all leaders. If we do return to the faction-based gameplay of Legends, we probably want to have unique visuals and gameplay, but we are looking at other ways that we can kind of mix things up and have some variety in there, regardless of whether we're doing one pool of units for all players or doing unique factions. So yeah, hopefully that cryptic answer gives you some indication into sort of the fact that we're aware of these kind of requests from players on the cosmetic side, but obviously it has to fit into the sort of the gameplay of whatever title that is. Okay, so another question. Mizo asks, will AI be able to use gunpowder stashes, laddermen, siege towers, and so on going forward? The answer is yes. Future AI will absolutely use these things. And as we've said before, any new AI added to the game will be added as a free update to the base game. But yes, we are planning to make the AI eventually use all of the tools available to regular players. Okay, I've been told it's time for the last challenge. Eat Aaron's hot, spicy concoction TM. Whatever that means.
Okay, so after a brief recess, we are back. So I've put together a little dish for you, Nick.
Ooh, Jamaican style hot sauce. Not just any.
So I went to there you go.
This is the first time I'm eating your cooking. How much of this do I have to eat?
Just a little bit. So I went over to
Asda?
Sainsbury's
Ooh.
on my way into work, and I picked up a soba wok style chili hot pot. Don't know how spicy that is.
It smells spicy.
It's mixed with some harissa.
Yep.
And then some Dunn's River Jamaican style hot sauce.
Okay.
So just have a little bit of that and we'll see how you do.
Okay, the things I do for the Stronghold community. Man, these noodles look really high quality. All right. Okay.
How is it? It's not spicy at all for you.
I'm gonna do one final large mouthful and then I'm going to just go into the next question, I think. I'm not denying that it's spicy. Yeah, my mouth is spicier than it was 3 minutes ago. Okay, and with that final, distinctly unspicy challenge, a little bit fiery at the moment. This one is from Mizo, asking, will there be more work done on optimization? Yes, so good timing. Our first round of optimizations will come out next week with the release of version 1.3. Following that, we will be doing sort of, background stability improvements all throughout the year when possible, releasing these alongside either major or minor content updates. So, excuse me, once the Skirmish Trail update is out, and obviously version 1.3 is out as well, we'll be able to give you some more information on optimizations, which will be happening throughout the year. Next question. I think I'm worried about like what's going to happen to me later rather than how I'm feeling right now. I think I'm gonna. Watcher asks, can we get monitor preference settings? So we are looking into this. We're aware of this. Requests like these have been on the list since launch, and we're just trying to get around to working on them while also working on the content roadmap itself, and we're just trying to balance between these two things. So it's definitely on the list, and yeah, we're looking at it at the moment. Okay, second to last question now, which is good because I really want some water. I can't read it because of Aaron's handwriting. Sorry, it's Katsu Kazoga, I think. Will there be an option to remove the troop limit? So in single player, you can set troop limit to whatever you want. You can effectively remove it in this regard. So you can set it to however high you want to. Instructions to do this are in the game manual. With our first major update, version 1.1, which was released pretty soon after launch, we actually did increase the troop limit in multiplayer, and we'll be looking to continue to do this as we release new updates for the game. Okay, and now it's time for the final question from that Toronto guy with a fez, I think, saying, will the Samurai Lancer have a Yari or Naginata, I think it is, and is he on horseback? To which my response is, who said anything about he?
At your service.
Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed our first post-release Q&A video for Stronghold Warlords. I certainly enjoyed taking your questions. I certainly enjoyed taking your questions, and Aaron's challenges were interesting, and I definitely will not be vetoing this kind of thing in the future. Now, as always, if you do have further questions about Stronghold Warlords specifically, or even the future of the Stronghold series as a whole, please do let us know in the comments below. As hopefully you've seen in our most recent updates, we are paying close attention to feedback, and we'll continue to do that for Stronghold Warlords in 2021. If you liked today's video, be sure to give it a like and come back next week to check in on version 1.3 of Stronghold Warlords and our first DLC release.